Welcome everyone on this glorious Sunday evening, or Monday, depending on where you are watching. This is a Link to the Past Randomizer Challenge Cup featuring ssbmoro and bumrushblitz. My name is Walkix. I am joined today by Amaranth. How are you?
I am tired. We've had a lot of rando today over here on the Gomo podcast channel.
Well, hopefully this one is going to top them all. So we have Game 2 between ssbmoro and bumrushblitz in the tiebreaker for Group N, I believe. ssbmoro, who I'm just going to refer to as Oro moving forward, won Game 1. And so we are already now on to Game 2. We're already starting.
Yes, both of them starting out at Link's house, and looks like they're both on and head on up to the cap. Very quick Mac check there for a red crystal at Hera, and I missed what desert was, Eastern being a regular crystal.
The desert looked like the blue pendant, and one thing to note is that the runners did get the moon pearl out of Link's house, so don't have to be fetching around for that.
Kind of convenient to have a really early moon pearl like that.
I mean, it's nice, because it's a Sphere 1 moon pearl. Sometimes you almost want a moon pearl in Sphere 2 or Sphere 3 because that can almost indicate like there might not be as many things in the dark world as you normally used to. But this is a pretty standard opening route. If you're starting at Link's house, you go up to Uncle, see what Uncle has, check this other chest, and usually save and quit out to the Sanctuary. Just a red meringue, so nothing of crazy value there.
Yeah, or just giving the guards a quick last check to see if they have any bombs on them. And that's a mirror and sank.
That's pretty good because you can just take that mirror and be like, all right, I'm just gonna mirror right to the bottom. It saves a couple seconds right there. So real quickly for both of these runners, like I said, this is the tiebreaker with Oro up 1-0, meaning if Oro wins it, they will advance to the bracket stage. Bumrushblitz needs a win here to push this to a Game 3. Bumrushblitz, as the loser of Game 1, had the option to change a setting for Game 2, chose not to, so this is still just a regular open defeat Ganon 7-7 randomized swords.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's kind of in your favor to not change anything, just keep it sort of basic and not worry about throwing in some odd settings that, in hopes that you throw your opponent, you may accidentally throw yourself instead.
Yeah, definitely. If you're not changing settings, you're kind of, thinking to yourself, okay, it was more me than my opponent. I still feel like I've got an advantage in a regular seed kind of situation. So it's on me to up my gameplay as opposed to, trying to trip up my opponent. Seeing a sword at the Thieves' hideout, which is always a good thing to see.
Very nice to have an early sword, just sort of a relief of, yes, my ease of doing dark rooms until you find the lamp.
Yeah, this sword just makes everything a lot better. Bumrushblitz picking up a bomb. I think trying to pull up a tier 2 pull, and sure enough, get some bombs on tier 2.
Very nice.
So that'll help, especially since there weren't any rupees really to speak of in this first part of your routing. Normally if you do Uncle, you're likely will have 50 rupees or maybe some bombs right now. But for Oro, they're kind of going into Blind's hideouts, hoping that one of these 4 chests are bombs or rupees.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good likelihood that there are, but hey, good luck,
yeah,
bombs.
Don't even need to worry about that.
Like I said, very likely that they're there. It's just the few bad times that they aren't, and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna have to come back for this.
Yeah, and especially with it being, a Sphere 1 check, it's not one you usually like to skip. But, nothing so far, nothing in Blind's hut, so I'll have to check for more stuff maybe in Cackwell or behind the chicken house. Bumrush also did earlier give us a lumberjack check. I think it was just a heart piece or a heart container. I didn't get a great look at it, but I don't think anything that we're we're going to be killing Aga for unless we need it for Dark World access. Just a Bombos medallion so far, and half magic. Always nice.
Bit of convenience items. Definitely take that half magic any day of the week.
Oh, definitely. And the 300 rupees is nice for, if you need to get extra bombs. Also gives you bottle vendor money. Notice, we have a sword and we also found a cape. So we're, I don't want to sit here and say it's hard aggro required, but we're already 2/3 of the way there.
We're on Aga scale level orange of red.
Yes, that's actually definitely agree. Very good.
Yeah, until those gloves and the hammer start showing up. And hey, there's that master sword that puts us to deep orange. Also, Oro freeing both the chickens in Kakariko, so now that they are saved, good luck be upon him for the rest of the seed.
Is that what brings good luck? I didn't know that, so I'm going to have to start incorporating that into my routing.
Yeah, there's the one above the chest in the tavern, and there's also the one under the pot in the chicken house.
Okay. See, that's what I've been missing this whole time. I didn't know that, if you free those chickens, that you're guaranteed good luck.
And that's a bow there on the racing game.
Yep, you're not going to want to save and quit away from that one.
Yeah, that'll definitely push you to Eastern before doing Aga.
Oh yeah, both these runners, I'm sure know their dark rooms, or at least the Eastern dark rooms, well enough to be able to do Eastern even without the lamp.
Oh, Math, I'll have to go find that. Math girl pointing out that there's another chicken in Kakariko village that if you free it and powder it, turns into a person.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's kind of funny. I don't know if the person says anything, but it's always something interesting. bumrushblitz just did a blind check of this, so saving a little bit of time against Oro. So both of these runners finishing up their checks respectively in about 6 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether they decide to go up and do Castle, or straight to Eastern, or go right down and do South Shore.
Looks like both runners are just taking that bow and saying, all right, you know what? This Eastern's a crystal. Let's go. Oro looks like they're going to check Lake Hylia Island along the way, which is hard. It's a quick check and only cost you a couple seconds.
Yeah, and while you can route it in later while you're doing flippers or fake flipper checks, it's really nice to not have to swim all the way over to the left just for that one look.
Definitely. So Hostile here, if we speak to him, will tell us our green pendants. Doesn't look like that'll be the case, though.
Maybe talk to him on the way out.
Yeah, possibly.
There's a lot of health and some blueberries. Nope, not going to talk to the old man.
I don't want to talk to you. I'm here to rob you and leave. And so Hasha's like, alright, cool. Have fun, dudes. Of course, he's probably looking at that Moogle and thinking, what game are you from?
What strange land are you from? And you look rather thin. In fact, one could say you're wiry.
Can I interest you in some food? That's the great thing about going to grandparents. They usually feed you. Bumrushblitz in Eastern Palace, by the way. Oro following up.
Mathro, to answer your question about where Moogle is from Final Fantasy. I believe this one specifically is Final Fantasy VI. It's whichever one has I think her name is Celeste or something.
Celeste,
I don't remember the character.
Yeah.
Which is the bunny sprite for the Moogle.
Yeah, and he said this one's specifically from Final Fantasy VI. Moogles are, not specific to just Final Fantasy VI, because Final Fantasy VI, I can speak. There are other games that include Moogles, but there is one in Final Fantasy VI that you can actually get as a playable character. Really fun. Would recommend for everyone. But we're playing Link to the Past Randomizer. Two completely different games.
So far, nothing quite that amazing out of Eastern Palace just yet.
Yeah, it usually takes a minute or so to get to the good stuff in Eastern Palace. One thing that could be of note so far is that we haven't seen the big key. The big key itself might actually be lamp lock, which is something that you could think about in case. Oh, there are flippers. But as I was saying, if say Armos Knights has an item, with the big key being in its vanilla location, the big key is technically lamp locked. So you could use that knowledge to kind of maybe whittle down the location of other items. But those flippers, kind of interesting. We don't have Zora money just yet, and so there's, you kind of. It also takes away the possibility of hula-handing at the moment. So you kind of maybe want to hold off, maybe hopefully reach 500 rupees before you maybe do your flippers checks.
Yeah, and there's the entirety of all of South Shore that you could find 50, 100, 300 rupee, couple packs of each of those, and you're set to go pay the scam fish.
Oh, definitely. Hopefully, maybe if you don't get money, you get a glove so you can just rob the thief over there on East Light World for his 20 rupees every time.
Yep, or just fall into a hole and hula-hand.
Oh yeah, that works too.
So far, the runners basically being right and following suit with each other so far this round. Not really much variance. We'll see when they decide to split off from each other here soon. And going into parts of this dungeon that are completely out of logic because we do not currently have the lamp or fire rod. Lamp needed to get that big key, fire rod / lamp needed to get to the back of Eastern Palace here. Trying to kill that Igor in the dark is always a little bit difficult, trying to 1, locate him, and 2, actually kill him.
Interesting that the Igor didn't seem like the Igor was activating, Normally you hit the Igor with your arrow, you're like, okay, that's where the Igor is, and from there you kind of just like move up to aggro him and just shoot him with the arrow. Got him that time though, and it looks like he got the other Igor too with that spin slash, so both runners, bumrushblitz getting through. I think Oro has the small key. Looks like they just opened the door. Will be getting up as well. So both runners getting through it without too much difficulty.
Yeah, sometimes finding that door can be a pain just because you get caught like tripping up on the pot or that torch in the top middle, and you're not quite exactly sure where you are in the room.
Yeah, and especially since you're likely killing just the one green Igor. So if you aggro that second one, that second Igor can make a beeline for you. It takes 1 heart of damage each hit. And as you mentioned, with that pot that's blocking the staircase, if you're actually up at the very top of the room and you're trying to pick up that pot, you're not going to. You have to be slightly lower than the very top of the room.
Yeah, that's been my problem, so something to keep in mind next time I'm in that room.
bumrushblitz not getting the Armos quick kill. Looks like Oro maybe got it.
Just slightly off.
Just off. But just like that, 13 minutes in, 1 crystal each for both runners. Gotta be feeling pretty good about that.
Absolutely. Still plenty of places to check. We got the flippers to officially go to Zora and Hobo. We're rocking and rolling. Still have plenty of rando to get into before hopping into that red flag aga.
So at this point, I imagine both runners will likely do South Shore. It makes sense to put off South Shore when you have the bow and you go straight to Eastern when it's a crystal, but afterwards it's a little lucrative. There's 2 items at the dam, 5 behind Mini Moldorm, Ice Rock Cave, plus with those flippers, at least 4 or 5 more checks. So
yeah, plenty of items still yet to find. There's our first bottle in the dam.
Because we needed a reason to go back to Kakariko.
Hey, we'll probably end up there eventually when we gotta be dip into Thieves Town and Skullwoods area, so it'll be nice to route that in our next trip there. And there's our first glove.
Hey, that's always good to see.
the Aga commotion has calmed slightly.
Slightly. Bumrushblitz, though, going... taking the road less traveled, heading to Agina's cave. Definitely something, you know, if you think that your opponent might just do normal routes, this could give you a little bit of an edge, because Agina's cave is something that a lot of runners like to put off because of just how far out of the way it is for just one check.
Yeah, it's about the same out of the wayness as Ice Rod Cave is from any Moldorm, so in a seed where it's already starting to look like Aga, you don't really want to be leaving much behind.
No, definitely. So we'll see what we got. A mini Moldorm cave giving us a mushroom and a hook shot. All right, so that's pretty good.
Ooh,
the boots. That's a really good find for Bumrushblitz.
that could be big, especially if that leads to Hammer or our other glove. My brain, of course, it's messing with my brain a little bit. Looking at it, it's like, why isn't Oro charging around? It's like, oh right, Bumrushblitz got the boots, not him. We're not there yet. Slow down.
Yeah, and if it doesn't lead to anything, it could actually be even more of an advantage for Bumrushblitz, because they, you know, that Oro probably won't go there for a little while, especially with Desert being a pendant. So
And that's a third sword, though, in Ice Rod
that is a
Cave.
third sword. Wow. Why couldn't I get these swords like when I play these games?
Where are these seeds when I need them?
Right? Usually when we're running these seeds, it's like, oh, here's your first sword in, you know, Pod, and your 2, 3, and 4 swords are up in Ganon's Tower. I think
Have a matching pair of canes.
I was
here.
gonna say, was that both canes? That was both canes.
What is this seed? Or you've already
checked.
checked the island. What are you doing?
Yeah, that was Moro who checked the island, so a little bit of a memory lapse there.
Dirty habit.
Yeah.
I think we're getting a Houlihan here out of Bumrush.
Don't fall in on accident. All right, good.
Gonna ensure he has his Zora money for when he makes his loop through South Shore.
Yeah, and this is actually going to work out really nicely routing-wise, because this will just pop you out of Link's house so you can finish off your South Shore. Hey, look, there's our lamp.
Hey, so Eastern was technically in logic, in a very roundabout sense.
Logically required double dip. Had to get those flippers from Eastern so you can get your lamp off of our hobo friend.
And while that lamp is nice and does give us access with the hookshot to a good portion of Death Mountain, the Aga Tower play has now increased to Angry Glare.
I'd be impressed if either runner tries to gamble Aga 1 before doing the mountain, because that's a lot of checks on the mountain, even without Hera access. Although you have Hera access, you have the mirror. So.
Yep, that is why it is at Angry Glare, because you don't want to, but I'm keeping my eye on you.
But it's there. You know it's there. It's just hanging over your head, and you're like, stop looking at me.
Don't make me do this. I'll pull this trigger if I have to. Bumrush heading over to get their tempered sword from Ice Rod Cave.
Yep, you notice Zora checked what was on Zora Ledge, then saved and quit, not having the money to do Zora. So this could be another big moment in this seed if Zora is holding something of value.
Yeah, and just every minute that Bumrush has these boots over Oro is just a couple little bits of time that he can be pulling ahead of Oro.
It'll be interesting to see Oro's next move. They're likely, with their equipment in hand, go up the mountain.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's a very, very logical play.
I wonder, it's a bit of a distance, but if you're concerned that, you know, maybe Sick Kid has something, do you stop and do Sick Kid along the way, or do you just go up the mountain? It looks like Oro is just going to go straight up the mountain. So that answered my question.
Yeah, I like this play because you really don't want to push into Cat because it's very unlikely that Sick Kid has either the other glove or the hammer at this point. There's so much more density way up on the mountain right now. You're way more likely to find that other glove or hammer in your way into Hera to continue on to more crystalline.
Oh, definitely. Oh, not that way, Oro. Both runners probably thinking to themselves, when are we going to get our Dark World access? Because if it is an Aga seed, you know, it's going to be a 34, 35 minute Aga seed almost. Like you're doing Aga late, which is never fun.
Oh right, duh! I just realized we have hammer. We do have or already have access to Hera, so
We have Mirror.
or yeah, Oro will likely be doing Hera first and then hopping over to the east side.
Definitely. And Zora not being worth anything today.
Scamfish gonna scam.
Always, until he doesn't, and then you're like, oh, well, I don't have any money.
Oro gonna hop on down, go and get that blue mail. Don't blame him. Just double your health for free for a couple 30 seconds worth of a check. Let's see if he can pull off the bomb jump to get back across though.
It's not an easy bomb jump. This one is a lot more precise than most of the ones you try to pull off.
I think he's got it. He might be a pixel off. Yeah, it was just slightly too high, I think.
Gonna save and quit. Probably just save and quit back to the mounted. I'd be interested to see, because currently the save and quit mechanic now takes an extra second and a half, you know, whether it would be quicker to save and quit just like he did back to the old man, or to take the walk, you know, walk out of Spectacle Rock Cave and kind of do the walk. Be really interesting to see, because I don't know that one.
I think without boots, it's approximately the same, maybe slightly in favor of the save and quit.
Interesting.
But with boots, it's definitely in favor of just running out of the cave.
Oh, definitely.
Dark World map check. We got Pennant in Skull Woods, green Pennant in Mire, red Crystal over an Ice Palette. And blues all over the rest of everywhere. And bumrushblitz also going and picking up that blue mail.
No, I think that pendant layout is actually really good for bumrushblitz, because at this point, if you're Oro, oh, there's our hammer.
The Aga threat has been eliminated.
Hoorah. But going back to my point, you know, if you're Oro, you almost don't want to see the fluke in the seed, because, you know, that gives you essentially access to, you know, Pendant Mire and Pendant Desert once you would get the Titan's Mitts as well. So for bumrushblitz, you know, they'll probably have this boots advantage for a long time.
Yeah, very likely. It's gonna be kind of weird for when Oro decides to route in going to Agina's cave. Probably around the time that, I'd say if he finds the mitts early around Thieves Town, Skull Woods check, he'll probably end up doing the blacksmith check and then purple chest and work his way over into Agina, and then that's when he'll get his boots. And there's silvers.
Wow.
Just here, have all the offense.
Not even 25 minutes in. bumrushblitz, by the way, giving us a lovely Herapod attempt.
Let's see if he makes it.
Based on how that bomb reacted, I'm concerned he maybe picked up an item before it fully dropped, which is going to break the ability to Harapot here. Meanwhile, Oro, blink and you miss it, already finishing off Moldorm, getting their second crystal at 25 minutes.
Yeah, not quite lining up that Herapod just right, so gonna have to walk up that tower manually.
Yeah, I think in this instance, I don't know if it was the mini Moldorm or the little Dodongo, but I think one of them dropped had a bomb drop or something, and if you pick up that item before it hits the ground, for whatever reason, reasons I don't know, you can't Harapot for the bomb will just shoot you in a direction or just shoot you past where you need to stop.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, we'll call it interesting interactions that this game hasn't. Bumrushblitz taking a fall all the way back down to the first floor.
That's a rough one.
Bumrush, you have the hook shot in the boots.
So we're gonna try Harapotting
over. But yeah, there's a similar problem in Enemizer, if you've ever played much of Enemizer, where, and Bumrushblitz gets the Harapot, very nice. In Enemizer, if you go into Ice Palace, where if the enemies after the Ice Palace bomb jump room are actually flying enemies, like those bombable guys that everyone really hates.
Yeah.
If like those are there instead of the normal enemies, you just do not bomb jump right, and you can never make that bomb jump.
Very interesting. In chat pointing out there's almost a similar effect in pod if you're coming from the top to do your hammer jump. So a lot of weird little quirks in this game that you kind of got to keep in mind.
Well, I mean, half this game is held together by hopes, dreams, and spaghetti codes, so... We're giving us our good quick look here at a Paradox Cave, 5 fast checks. And nothing really too much of value.
But we got our value in Hera with that hammer and silver arrows.
Yeah, I'd very likely think I'd see Oro. I was gonna say, would probably be really good to start at Link's house, do Hype Cave, and then just go west towards Thieves Town.
I mean, with this item layout, you can do Pod and Swamp Palace already. They're both full clearable, and they're both crystal dungeons. I mean, already, I don't want to talk about Go Mode, but, with the right item layout, Fire Rod, Ice Rod, and Titan's Mitts would essentially be all we need.
Very likely, yes.
Well, Oro taking the portal to Village of Outcasts. So they'll start, maybe do a pendant Skull Woods dive, and then likely down to Thieves Town. Oh, and there's an enemy under the bush. Hate when that happens. Just ruins your day.
Just, aha, you cannot move through me. I am Skeletor.
Especially when you dash. You're thinking, oh man, I'm going to go through this all fast, and then nope, here's an enemy. And you're just like, oh. Why
you had to ruin it for me. Or checking out the quote middle part of Skullwoods real fast.
Nice and easy when you have Cane of Samaria. we're seeing some divergence. Bumrushblitz is going to start Dark World in the Hype Cave area, so we'll be able to see which route ends up being more beneficial.
Like I said, I kind of favor Bumrush's route a little bit better just because it's a lot more quick succession item. Maybe you end up with a little bit more health, or you find your progression items like sooner, but you're getting more checks out of the way. You're really just hitting up that density super hard.
Starting with a Quake Medallion, Hype Cave, and an Ice Rod. Wow, that is a huge relief when T-Rock is a crystal, because that's a hunt that you know you no longer have to go through.
Let's see, I'd rate that about a 4.5 on the hype scale, depending on whether TR is Quake or not. If Quake is TR, we bump that up to about a 6, because the amount of relief that brings that you got both things at a hype cave for Turtle Rock, it's kind of nice. At least you're not on the Ice Rod hunt.
Yeah, definitely agree. So, as you said, 4 out of 5 right now, with the option to bump it up, pending our T-Rock medallion. Now, say Misery Mire was Quake.
Then it gets a failing grade. But on the counter to that, if Fire Rod is a Misery Mire, who knows? All sorts of throwing that thing all over the scale.
We're just going to say incomplete for now.
Hype Cave is ranked X out of 10, where X is based on all these variables. And it will fluctuate it will fluctuate throughout the game until we find out what we all needed. It will be graded at the end once everyone has finished their term.
I hope you've been taking notes. Oh, we got our first shield. It looks so solid next to those lines of blink.
Yep, Boro taking the Playco toy shield. I'm gonna go visit the sick kid and see what he has. Just your lunch money, kid.
I wonder if Sick Kid was like looking at that and being like, you aren't a whole person here, just take my money. Don't possess me, please. Not a whole lot so far in Village of Outcast, so next trip is into Thieves Town.
Yep, so we'll see what sort of goodies arrive in here, as well as with a Bumrush heading towards the back of Pod, where 90% of the value tends to be hiding. And that is our shield number 2 there in Pod.
Bumrushblitz didn't want to be left behind in the shield battle. Because really that's what this is, right? This is a shield hunt.
Yes, you may only beat the game once you have the mirror shield.
Yeah, it's the first of all 3 shields, right? So pod key logic, for those who maybe don't watch Randomizer, there are 6 chests in the front of pod. 4 of them are required to have small keys, but all 6 can hold small keys. I might be mistaken, but I feel like we only saw 1 item, which means the vanilla big key chest could actually have something in it. Bumrushblitz did not check that. So we had a key in the front. We had key in the first chest in the basement. We had the small key and the shield on the bowlog side. I don't recall what was behind
Well, there's the big key.
Yeah, there's the big key. But bumrushblitz probably is paying more attention at it than I am, so I'm gonna trust that they know that that's a small key over there.
Nobly actually mentioning for us real quick that there was a map and one item. Yeah, it was the map and the shield, obviously.
Alright, good. Thank you.
So if we had one less, yes, it would have been right to check the big key chest. But we found just the right number of keys to ignore it.
That pod looking pretty empty so far.
Still required to do the crystal and just not really coming up with much value-wise, otherwise than just being what it is to complete it.
Oh, Oro's got to be a little careful in Thieves Town. Down to 2 hearts. I mean, with Blue Mill, everything kind of reduces the damage to 1 heart, but it's still a little bit on the dangerous side. Oh, there you go. Down to 1 heart now. We'll have a chance as we're rescuing the maiden to get a couple hearts.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder what the runners may be doing after this, because after this, Oro may think to go fake powder with his mushroom that he has in hand, being that he's near the magic bat area. Whereas bumrushblitz, after he finishes this, could go up to catfish and may actually turn in his mushroom and forfeit the opportunity.
Yeah, that would be really interesting. Bumrushblitz, you know, that sounds like a sound play to make. With Swamp Palace full clearable, though, I would almost wonder maybe they take the gamble being down a game and, you know, just kind of work on some Crystal Dungeon, because bumrushblitz already went up and checked Pyramid, so that there's slightly less incentive to go that route up to Catfish and the Mushroom.
And just another bottle off the blind, and that finishes off Thieves Town for Oro. Still no fire rod in sight to do the rest of Skull Woods, so we'll see where he goes after this.
They're continuing south. I thought for a moment with the right play that they were actually going to do what you said and fake powder, but I think the allure of heading south is a little too much.
True, Oro has not yet hit Hype Cave, so...
So both runners picking up 3 crystals, different crystals, but 3 crystals nonetheless. And when you're looking, 38 minutes, 3 crystals, thinking pretty good so far. Things are going pretty good. That was just 11 digs. Man, I wish I could get like an 11 dig game. Usually I'm hitting like 27, 28.
Yeah, usually the nightmare dig. Only once have I ever had the miracle first dig, and it was glorious.
Was it anything important?
Nope, but it was just immediate. Okay, can get out of here, done with that. Make that the fastest check in the world. Yeah, there's our glove.
Ooh, that's... I mean, do you turn around if you're Oro and kind of get the smith chain going at this point?
You may well, just because it's right there. You have mirror, you can quickly do that. You can route in your fake powder. It's certainly tempting. We'll see what he does with it. Looks like he says, I'm going to hold off on that for now. We're going to keep going, hit up Hype Cave, and possibly even jump into Swamp at this point.
Yeah, Swamp Palace seems like a good play, although bumrushblitz giving us the what we thought Oro was going to do, and they're going to be the one to actually fake powder.
See if it comes up to anything. Just 10 arrows.
Womp womp. And now you're left with no magic.
See, the bat ultimately had a curse after all. He robbed you of your magic.
However, with where Bumrush is going, looks like they'll be going to the Village of Outcast portal. You can bonk the tree directly above the portal and get a full magic refill, so not too bad. And actually, pretty smart to do that before heading towards Village of Outcasts.
Yep, allows you to go into Thieves' Town full magic. The option to have a cape or cane of burn for when you go get to blind. Or you could just ignore the tree entirely.
Or you can skip it. That's always a good move as well.
I mean, sometimes you can never know, right?
You know, if sometimes it just works out in your favor.
You know, so far, digging this MSU on Oro's side for the Cadence of Hyrule pack.
I think Bumrush just got nailed with the sprite rule right there. So I think I don't know. I'm sure one of those pots probably has a magic underneath them. I'm not 100% positive, but
they both do. I don't know if they're just like 50-50 pots or if you can sprite overload it.
Yeah, I think we got a sprite overload there because I don't think pots are ever 50-50 base. It's more, you know, you get sprite overloaded.
Yeah, I'd have to look into it because I know like the rocks outside of like Lynn's house, those are 50-50, or at least the middle one. Also, as a note, Oro getting that gold sword out of the front chest of Swamp Palace here.
I missed that completely. So we are loaded for cannon. Gold sword, silver arrows. It's going to be a piece of cake in this seat.
Yeah, it'd be really nice for Oro to find Fire Rod here. That's a quick. We're looking like we're going pretty fast from this point. I think the question is, does he do left side first or no?
That's a tough call. I want to say no, because if you're thinking about if you're looking at your items, looking at your crystals, in your head you're thinking, okay, I could potentially be as little as Fire Rod from Go mode. At this point, I don't expect Oro to get the boots at all. So unless Ganon Tower Big Key is sitting up there on the torch, we won't be seeing.
Which is always a worry.
It's definitely a worry, but you're not going to go out of your way to check unnecessary things for a 1 in 22 chance.
No, so far we're looking like we could be at a God Swamp with potential for map compass on the left side with Big Key either in the chest or in some combination with the left side there. We'll find out here in the next couple of checks whether Oro will have to return or not. So far, so good.
And bumrushblitz doing a check that Oro didn't do in this graveyard ledge. Just some bombs, so not getting punished though on Oro's side.
Alright, if Argus has our last item here, then Oro is done. We have officially completed the God Mode Swamp.
No complaints there.
Should be a very easy Argus Gold Sword. I believe you can just leave your sword out and poke and just constantly hook shot.
It doesn't quite work as fast unless you have the boots. So those poke strats are usually, you've got your boots and you're usually dash poking. But Cold Sword, still just hook slash, really simple. Bumrushblitz taking the north route, turning their mushroom.
And there is one item left in the swamp.
I think you leave. I don't see you going back for one item.
It's a tough call because, like you said earlier, though, you could be as little as Fire Rod away, and that's one item, and it just feels bad. But Oro gonna chance it. Hop, skip on over to Ice Palace, see if maybe the Fire Rod's over there.
Yeah, and I would almost think that the Fire Rod is going to be somewhere that's locked by Titan's Mids, because that's your latest item. That's your latest progression item. So that opens up Ice Palace, that opens up Smith Chain, that opens up Dark Death Mountain. You suspect one of those would have your Fire Rod. At least that's my line of thinking.
Meanwhile, Bumrushblitz is going to give us a quick check at the catfish. And just some bombs from that lonely old fish.
And I think it's interesting looking at these two runners. You're kind of seeing how specific routing can almost turn in your advantage. I mean, Bumrushblitz has had these boots, for a half hour at this point. But you look at their crystal count, and Oro still is up an entire crystal, 4 crystals to 3. And they're working on their 5th. So Oro's making it a point to almost exclusively dungeon dip, while Bumrushblitz is being a little more thorough with their overworld checks.
Yeah, and that's sort of like the boon and bane of the boots is you're kind of wanting to stay in the overworld more because you have that high mobility while you're out there. So it sort of seems more beneficial to stick around in the overworld, get all those checks done, rather than keep dungeon dipping. Because if the answer is in the overworld, then you're good.
Just one of those risks you take when you're doing a 1v1.
Yep, and you just kind of have to take it because it's either you risk it or you play super conservatively. And which one do you think is going to be the route to success today?
And Bumrushblitz planned for their tournament life. Oro wins this, they move on to the bracket stage and eliminating Bumrushblitz. This is the tiebreaker for Group N. With Oro up 1 game to them.
Also, a little bit of titling going on here, just for those who aren't aware. There was a Go Mode podcast mentor tournament a couple months ago. Bumrushblitz actually the winner of that. Oro, I believe, I can't remember if he made it only a little ways into brackets, but certainly wasn't necessarily close. If Oro can come out ahead of Bumrushblitz, certainly a nice little small victory prize just in and of itself, being able to beat the winner of the mentor tournament.
Now, in the mentor tournament, was Oro the runner or was Oro mentor?
Oro and Bumrushblitz were both runners.
Okay.
So they would have someone such as, say, any of the really people who've been really good, like Dante, or we had actually for the first game Dante and Chirality. Both of these twos. I don't know if I'd necessarily say they're primary mentors, but one of their mentors at any given time. During the tournament.
Yeah, and both, very good runners.
Yeah, so if you haven't checked out Game 1, definitely go back and give that a watch. It was quite the match, and also fun to just listen back and hear the mentors just kind of talk back on their runners and getting to just view how much they've grown since the Mentor tournament.
So far, Ice Palace being not a whole lot, kind of a little bit of a dud, but clearing Ice Palace gives us our second 5/6 crystal, meaning Pyramid Fairy will be in Logic.
Ah, good point. Yeah, could be Fire Rod up in there. Never know.
And neither runner has also given us a front of escape check.
It's true. I believe we just have 2 items left in escape, if my count is correct.
Yes. Because we didn't see the small key in the back, nor did we see the map, and neither of those were in the Sanctuary chest. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Oro just kind of, heads to pod after this, and then, depending on how they're feeling, maybe just go up to Dark Death Mountain and just gamble Fire Rod up there.
I could certainly see him pulling a play like that. I would probably likely see him do the red bomb first, and then maybe head over to pod. Or we're doing a little bit differently, pushing the eyeballs over into the left corner. Most people push them to the top right, and just ultimately annihilating Cold Stare.
Man, that gold sword just makes all these battles so much easier.
And Bumrush finishing off blind here. Gonna get their 4th crystal. We'll see where both these runners decide to head after they finish each of these respective dungeons.
I think with bumrushblitz, I think your only option at this point is to continue south. You've cleared out most of the overworld at this point. I think they're actually close to last locationing. Well, no, they've still got all the Swamp Palace. I was going to say they were close to last locationing their Titan's Minutes, but they'll get their Titan's Minutes along the way anyways.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, looks like Oro's going to go for the red bomb into pod. Now, the Fire Rod is here at the Big Red Bomb, Fat Fairy. Things are actually looking pretty good for Oro, I'd say.
I definitely agree. Because with 2 medallions, you're thinking, okay, there's a good chance I'm in, essentially Crystal Go mode. And again, you really don't worry about the GT Big Key being on the torch. It's a small chance.
That 1 in 22 chance.
But if it is, then your panic level goes up to like 120 out of 10.
You start thinking, oh, I left that 1 item in Swamp. I never visited Lagina. I haven't done Catfit. I have 7,000 places that are all one-off checks, and I don't know which one to go to first.
Exactly, and the boots are in a bad one this team. They're sitting in Nagina's cave.
Yeah, 4.54% chance, thank you, Nobly, of GT Big Key being on the torch. Or don't you know you have to have an empty bottle? Get rid of that B. You're not going to be fighting Mothiel anytime soon.
Get the B in return. Just a red potion. Oro pulling out the mirror. I think they're going to give us a front of escape check.
That looks to be the case. Again, if he does find Fire Rod here, very nice for him. Probably see him go up to Dark Cross first, and then start heading down Zelda's Cell, so that way, once you find the last item that way, you're just done. Because it's map key and 2 items.
Bumrushblitz, you skipped a step, buddy. Can't be going into Swamp without draining the dam. Mathro pointing out, the one thing we don't want to see is a flute in this seed. And looking at our pendant dungeons, you know, pedestal is on absolute critical life support. The only thing that could be on pendant or on the pedestal is our medallion for Turtle Rock. But we don't even know what that is yet.
Yep. And our tracker actually pointing out to me a very interesting fact. If Oro went towards the Zelda chest fur, and there was no key, then Dark Cross logically has to have the small key in open mode. I did not know that. Bumrush picking up his gold sword. Is now fully equipped to fry the pig. Just gonna skip on that key because we don't really need it. The last item is down on in here.
I mean, I actually give Oro props because that's a hard muscle memory for me. You know, you pick up that key regardless, just because you've done it a million times.
Oh, a lot of items like that. It's like, oh, I'm at full bombs, but those bombs dropped. I need to pick them up.
Yeah,
I might need them.
So I mean, I give props to Oro for just being able to not fall into the temptation of taking those few extra steps.
You gotta save every frame you can, right?
Always save the frames. Who needs them animals? I think I'm talking
unless
about.
I was gonna say, unless it's 100%, then you save them animals. GDQ coming up here in not that long, about like a week and a half.
Oh, that's right. It's already coming up. Oh man, are you going?
Oh, I wish I was. Maybe next year. I'm hoping that one day, like 1 year now, they're starting to move AGDQ and SGDQ around a bit. Maybe they'll host one here in Las Vegas for when it's a cold one like AGDQ, and be nice 40 to 60 degrees during the day, and everyone can not have to worry about wearing jackets and being cold all the time.
Also, did we just become best friends? As I too might live in Las Vegas.
Oh wow, interesting. We will have to talk a little bit later. How very interesting.
As we continue on, Oro and bumrushblitz kind of covering each other's tracks. A good time to kind of give them both a shout out. They're putting on a really good race, so I would encourage everyone who is watching to give them a follow because they're really doing well. Oro, what happened? Oh, did Oro mirror?
He accidentally mirrored.
Whoops.
I don't know what exactly he thought he was doing, but
sometimes you just instinctively hit that Y button. But take two for an additional 10 rupees. We're fine.
Maybe he was trying to try some new way to scam the monkey.
Haha, instead of me giving you 10 rupees, I'm gonna give you 10 more rupees. Oh, that doesn't work.
No. So thinking about what we already know, where the players have already been, Bumrush will probably head towards Ice Palace and maybe go for one last item that's here in Swamp. But other than that, it looks like Dark Death Mountain may be our progression to get that Fire Rod.
Yeah, Dark Death Mountain or our Smith and Chain, which we haven't seen from either runner yet. Basically, at this point, it's looking like it's behind the Titan Smiths, wherever it is.
Which, if it is up on the mountain, plays very much to the advantage of Oro, because he'll be up there, he'll get his Fire Rod, just be able to jump into Turtle Rock, and be able to go.
Yeah, both runners will be able to do that. It would greatly depend on what bumrushblitz's next move is here after Ice Palace, because they're gonna, I don't know which is faster, Pod or Ice Palace, especially since they're both full clearing it. So we could actually be seeing them kind of converging on the mountain at relatively the same time, both with 6 crystals.
Very likely. I believe Ice Palace is generally quicker, especially since Bumrush has boots, but Oro is already a good chunk of the way through Pod, so like you said, they'll probably finish approximately the same time.
The only difference being would Bumrush Blitz, check Pyramid Fairy before.
Uh-oh.
We have
Technical difficulties. Bumrush Blitz's screen just deciding to dominate the view for a moment. At least we've already seen a Palace of Darkness earlier.
Yeah, we've already seen Pod, so both runners again just kind of going over each other's tracks.
Math Girl, probably just flash the visibility on yeah, something like that. That's weird. I don't know what the heck happened. Oh, that's the timer one. Okay, it like bugged out. Sorry about that, folks. Looks like Bumrush Blitz's timer on the thing decided to go a little crazy and just take up the whole screen.
You can't time me.
You want to conveniently restream and not have anything screw up?
I mean,
sorry, but this is my restream.
I mean, I don't want to say it, but Mathco mentioned she was doing, what, 3 restreams today, and her computer was holding up pretty well. I'm just saying, maybe your own curse there.
She's on 3 in a row. I had the one before she had started, so we're on 4 for the day. Also, by the way, Nobly, Bumrush Blitz is missing a mark on his 4th sword and 2nd shield.
And you're seeing Aura already going, heading to the back, or heading to the Helmus Arcane, while Bumrush Blitz still needs to do the east side.
A few more rooms.
Did Bumrush Blitz just dash across that, or did I just not look at that right?
I'll see you again here in just a second. Oh no, he hookshotted.
Oh, okay. I was gonna be like, yeah, no, shut up, quit.
I mean, the hookshot does kind of move you at boot speed, so.
A boot. I'm sorry.
Canadians.
I love my Canadian friends. Everyone's amazing. You're all great. What are we doing? We're playing a game. Well, they're playing a game. Alright. Video games.
Yeah, and this is actually looking like it's going to be a really fast seed. Pending just finding this the fire rod, because we're about just over an hour in, and each of these runners is about to hit up their 6th crystal already.
This has been a really good seed so far. So we need some trolling here. So bear with me. We need to put the flute on Laser Bridge, so we can get our fire rod off of
Vitreous.
I was gonna say green pendant, but
I mean that's basically the same thing.
True.
Yes, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain and all the things that messed up just a moment ago in the restream. Yes, nothing definitely happened.
Didn't see anything. You didn't see me, but I waved my hand as if to do force things.
What were you talking about? I didn't see you.
You see? There you go. I'm a Jedi. Nice. Alright, so that's 6 crystals for Oro.
Where are you going, Oro? I feel like he's going mountain with that save and quit. Nope.
Just kidding. Where could he go?
He might be going back to hit that one last item in
That's
Swamp, or heading over to Agina, I think. And maybe check Desert Ledge, or going in the water portal
so
for
this would be Mushroom turn in maybe to
Zora.
Which is fair. I mean, if there's a couple of quick checks that you can do before going up the mountain, just in case.
Yeah, I'd actually be really ashamed to go up the mountain and not find the fire rod, and well, now I'm gonna have to go up Mount Son of a Gun again. Oh, okay. That was a hard reset. I was like, wait, did his stream just crash? Nope, we're safe scumming that mushroom because Oro didn't fake powder yet. No, you're good, man. No,
Yeah, we're fine.
Too.
Bumrushblitz looks like they will be checking the big bomb, which we know just had a couple heart pieces.
All right, we're heading up the mountain finally with Oro, I believe. After that quick panic attack. Oh god, what else could go wrong?
Math Girl, not sure. I actually don't play with MSU packs, so I don't know how they work when it comes to hard resets.
What do you mean? I actually don't understand the question, because I use MSUs all the time and I've never had a problem.
I'm not sure.
Or is it something maybe that's exclusive to the like SD to SNES or something? I'm not sure.
That could potentially be it. It looks like it is SD2 SNES only. Well, here's our first big moment. You know, is Turtle Rock going to be either Bombos
Not
or
Ether.
And the verdict is
Quake.
Quick, all right. So we're just looking for that fire rod.
Which, depending on how things logically are lined up, could be on Laser Bridge.
You know, the right key layout makes it work.
Yeah, just put the map and the compass on the Firelock side and you're golden. But, just in case.
Oh yeah, you know, you check Hookshot Cave, you check Super Money Kiffer.
Absolutely. We're not that crazy. Oh no.
It's a flute. Oh no.
And a shovel. Oh no.
Someone get us a book.
I was waiting for that last chest to be a book. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Questing time. Bumrushblitz not able to fight off the urge to grab that key. Maybe Super Bunny has the book for us.
Nope. Not one at least. Not two either.
I mean, you're here, you just kind of have to go for it and pray, right?
Oh yeah, you don't not dip into Toro in this situation.
And Nobly also pointing out that Spike Cave is also in Logic while we are here. We have half magic and an invincibility item and also 2 bottles. That's, I think, 2 different ways that enable Spike Cave to be in Logic.
Yeah, I think you get as far into Turok as you can here, and if it's not, then you kind of finish your routing by checking Spike Cave.
And then go off into where in the world is the fire rod? The usually ice rod, but this time fire rod.
I was gonna say, this is the wrong rod hunt.
Where's Umaga? I need my shirt. I went to Turtle Rock and all I got was a stupid ice rod.
By the way, we did get a small key, so we're continuing on.
Oh boy, here we go. Turtle Rock, could you be the answer?
No, we're done. All right, so not.
I didn't see what was that big key.
Heart container. So we are stuck. Need the fire rod to continue any farther, Turtle Rock, which is fine.
We are get your ass over to the Mire/Desert area now after Spike Cave.
I don't know. I mean, do you check the shovel first while you're there? Do you do Smith sequence? I mean, there's all of a sudden there's a lot of options at your disposal.
And I mean, do we go full Plando on this? And it's like, well, now you go dig up and you dig up the book.
So
the book gives you powder.
And the powder give. Well, no, we've already checked Magic Bat, so it can't be there.
Yeah, I know, but just for hilarity's sake.
I was so powder on one tablet and then ether on the other, so you can get into Mire, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
All right.
Because at this point, Ped's dead. Fire Rod can't be on Ped.
No, yeah, Ped is 100% dead.
Yeah, this will also be pretty good because you'll start shoving Oro towards the Desert Mire area, and he'll likely pick up his boots, so won't have to worry about that small chance of the big key in GT being on the torch.
Yeah, very impressive by Oro to kind of stay ahead this whole time. I mean, he's got a couple extra one-offs in this situation that bumrushblitz, could catch some time on, but for not having boots for this entire season,
Now 10.
Yeah, Oro's done pretty well to keep pace and, like I said, even kind of be ahead of bumrushblitz for most of this race.
Yeah, I think bumrushblitz picks up the boots around the 20-minute mark, so just keeping his nose to the dungeons and just pushing has really kind of just sort of worked to his favor. It gave him a lot more of the tactical advantage with like the weapons and finding a lot of the utility.
But at this point, you're also kind of leading some one-offs. Oro hasn't done Graveyard Ledge. Once they get the boots, there's going to be some additional checks that are going to weigh on your mind.
Never miss Control E and instead press Control R in OBS. Why? What does that do? Does that make the timer explode? Ah, so that's what that was. Okay.
Whoops. Alright, we're headed to the Mire area, which gives us access to Desert as well. Alright, let's skip the Tower of Hera. Tower of Hera has already been completed by both runners. Nothing in there. Well, we got Hammer and Silvers.
But nothing in there anymore.
Nothing in there anymore. It was Quake, by the way, to open Misery Mire.
There's a fire rod.
There's our... Alright, so that is... Well,
That is somewhat bad for Oro if the big T is on the torch.
It's gonna go right back.
I mean, 4% chance that this is bad for Oro, 96% chance that this is going to be a very, very fast finishing up seed, possibly even sub 90. Although bumrushblitz probably hot on his heels heading to the Mire area as well.
Yeah, and the difference Blitz to catch up.
And also which routes they decide to take in GT for the big key and who finds it first.
Definitely. So this is still anybody's race at this point.
It can also come down to some not just GT execution, but maybe someone falls or takes an unlucky death on Ganon. Not very likely, but hey, things can happen.
Definitely. bumrushblitz doing one extra check. Basically, at this point, any extra check that bumrushblitz is doing is just going to be giving time over to Oro. And another little small thing is that Oro's already been in Turtle Rock, doesn't have to do everything as much. So that's formally go mode for bumrushblitz at 1 hour, 14 minutes, and about 50 seconds.
Yep, and with Oro at 96% chance go mode. Although, if it is that small 4%, Oro has unfortunately bitten quite the big bullet.
Yeah, if it is up around that torch, and this is bumrushblitz's race to lose.
But we won't know for just a little while, so the tension is building in the race of boots versus no boots. By the way, while the runners start making their way through GT here, give the runners a follow for putting on another wonderful performance for us here today. Both of them doing a great job being restreamed here, keeping this entertaining and with this very fast seed that we have today. And a quick thank you, by the way, to the Go Mode Podcast for hosting this match today. Give them a check out at gomodepodcast.com. There's also a link to the Discord for the Go Mode Podcast for where they held races and answer questions and also field questions that they may or may not answer on the podcast itself. So feel free to give Tim, Axial, and Herky Durfy any questions that you may have about Rando.
Yeah, they do a really good job. Definitely worth checking them out. And while you're spreading love and giving all the follows and everything, go ahead and give my co-commentator a follow, as well as our restreamer Math Girl and our tracker Nobly. All of them deserve your love and affection as well.
As well as my co-commentator Walkix.
Aw, we're so lovey-dovey.
Maybe it's because we only just figured out that we are so close.
Very true. That was a vanilla big key. So in this situation, I think you have to go down and check the big key chest for a small key. Sometimes if you're going Turtle Rock, if you get the big key kind of early, maybe you just steal the key and kind of move on.
Yeah, I've seen some statistics on the chances that you actually need the small key out of the if there's a small key in the big chest, and it's about like 4% chance that it's there and required.
I think I've only ever had it once where I've been burned by not grabbing that small key or not going down to the big chest and getting a small key there.
Yeah, that's why it's just such a small chance to have to ever worry about it. It's one of those things that 90% of the time you're safe by it. Like this time it's just an item, but you can never really be sure. The highest chance is when you have to have that vanilla big key. But runners coming up on a lot of health, so with the maximum offense that they do have, should be fairly easy on Ganon today.
Just the one small key, so we will need to go, work our way through Laser Bridge to find our last key.
Yep, and Oro may end up checking all of it just to see if Boots may be there, whereas bumrushblitz will very likely just stop as soon as he finds the key.
Bodied a little bit. It's on the first chest, and Oro not going to bother checking anymore.
Just saying, I'm going to go for it. I don't need no stinking boots. I believe in the less than 4% chance. Heading on into Trinex with that gold sword. Gonna make a quick one cycle out of them. Just a quick attack from the head, and we'll be on to the last part of Trinex here.
Just 3 slashes per head. Ooh,
got a little close.
I think they had a fairy still, so I think they would have been fine.
No, I believe he turned it in for a. There's our. Turned it in for a red potion.
All right, well, that's 7 crystals, which means we have this thing that we do in Ganon's Tower. There are 22 checks, including 21 chests. So if you pick a number between 1 and 22, something happens. Something big you get in this game.
I'm going to continue with my luck from the last. Not only go for the hope room, but go for the dream chest and guess one.
All right, I'm say it's a little mean. I'm gonna 16.
And our tracker nobly messaging me, letting me know that they love a good race, but when someone doesn't have the boots, guessing 3 for Torch. It's mean, but sometimes that's just the way that it rolls.
Sometimes you gotta be mean. Alright, so Oro entering GT 121.3. We'll see how far behind bumrushblitz is when they enter. Or
Going straight left just to see how screwed I am. Do I need the boots? No.
Alright, so that is full go mode for Oro.
It'll all come down to execution and GT big key location ultimately. As well as, the speed up from the boots. 2 and 3, your big 20s. 4 is a key, and 5 is a key. Where are you going, Oro?
Yeah, I'm going to point out that Bumrush got these 0 cycle Trinex, so saving a little bit of time there.
6 and 7 for Oro, just arrows in the map, continuing on to the right. Oro just has to remember not to accidentally waste a key, being that he doesn't have the boots, and has to make sure he doesn't need that key that's left up on the torch.
It's entering at 123 even. I've already forgotten what Oro, so I'm just gonna not pretend like I said anything the first time. Sometimes I remember these things really well, other times I don't.
We're going to grab this key over here on the right side. I've already lost track of my numbers because we're going an unconventional route.
Well, let's see. 5, 6, 7.
I think that was 11 there.
That should be 11, yeah. But it wasn't right side, which means bumrushblitz, if they go full left, will jump and take the advantage here.
Let's see how this works out for him. We are still on Oro's count for the big key guessing game for 12. Bumrushblitz also going to mirror and go right now.
Ooh, that could spell trouble. That red meringue was just like...
Use the Mario block, Oro.
That red meringue went so far away.
They heard it in the next super tile over.
this should be 13 then.
So we're heading up to the random room for 14, 15, 16, and 17 for Oro. And either way this still slices, bumrushblitz still has the boots over Oro, so he can still make up that time pretty quickly once he finishes going left side here, and that was,
I believe, 15. Yeah, that was 15 there by Oro. Did we have anyone pick 15? Didn't see a 15. Tigriz had 13.
Tigriz is technically the winner with the Price is Right rules of closest without going over.
That would be correct, yes. And to answer your question, Chad, it's more runner preference. You know, I think Oro took the Dark Magician route because without boots, they wanted to check immediately. Okay, hey, do I need to go on a search for boots? And then at this point, it just, you know, check. Also, bumrushblitz also throwing their boomerang over to the next dimension.
It's one of the troubles of the red meringue. It doesn't quite always do what you want it to do. That's why that's why people have arguments over best meringue.
I mean, I've always been a fan of the red meringue. Now that it even has more use with splash deletion.
I think both meringues are best meringue.
Well, that's just taking a neutral stance.
Well, it's like comparing apples and oranges. You can throw apples at people and you can eat oranges.
B is for blue, blue is best. I'm not sure I follow that logic, but by all means. bumrushblitz about to be picking up their big key, but Oro's already through the gauntlet, so Oro has really kind of pulled into a little bit of a lead here.
It's looking like it's gonna be close. Possibly still keeping the sub 90 alive.
Sub 90 at this point would be really difficult. Usually, Ganon, even with butter and silvers, you know, it was usually 70, 80 seconds.
Hey, yeah, I can dream, can't I?
You could try. And yeah, even with those boots, these, you know, it seems like Oro has always just kept a, you know, consistently minute or two lead over bumrushblitz, which just goes to show, you know, Oro's execution here has been really solid this entire race.
Not to say that Bumrush has been lacking, but just...
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah. Like, both runners have just been phenomenal tonight, just keeping it, you know, just pushing every single advantage that they can, just keeping their nose to the grindstone, trying to find that fire rod.
Yeah, and really, you know, not getting baited by any potential, you know, out-of-the-way checks.
Shovel or...
Shovel. That shovel could have been a big thing. Fire Rod was sitting out in Myra's shed, so you needed to get the flute out of Hookshot Cave in order to get it. But Oro finishing off Moldorm 2.
Does not wish to get the chest after Moldorm. Says, I've got gold sword, I've got silvers, I just need to book my way up here.
Yeah, really no need to. Bumrush had a very clean land mode too, just 3 silver arrows, boop, 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 and they're gone.
Nice double there for Oro on that Agate so far. And a second. Very, very nice Agate too.
Really, yeah, I would say that was really good to get those 3 doubles in there.
And Oro, at just over an hour 30, is on to fight the Big Pig.
Yeah, Bumrush gonna need, again, a fall or a death here to have any chance of catching up. But we've seen crazy things.
True, you never know what could happen. Ganon could teleport 30 times.
Bumrushblitz a little low on health, but I did see a blue potion in there.
Yeah, I believe he also has a red potion, so pretty good as long as he doesn't take an extra Ganon hug. Also, really digging the Cadence of Hyrule final boss music here. Part of the beauty and fun of the MSU packs, just change up the game a little bit, keep it interesting. You know, missing the torch glitch unfortunately, but gonna get a quick at least double in here. Ooh, that was a nice dodge on that bat.
But with that, Oro defeats Ganon. Get your GGs in chat for Oro, so as long as they don't fall here, they'll take game 2 and advance to the bracket stage.
And Oro makes it through with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 10 seconds.
GG's
Bumrush Blitz following shortly to the pig fight hereafter.
So yeah, a very close race in this one. Just gonna finish, a minute or two apart here.
All right, let's real quick just watch Bumrush Blitz's execution here on Ganon real fast, and then we'll get both our runners in here for a quick interview. Getting through phase 1 rather quickly. Have 2.5 hearts left doing cape strats. Definitely really safe when you have half magic. And absolutely don't blame him for chugging the potion there. Best time for it.
Oh yeah. Take no chances.
Finishing up phase 3 rather quickly here, almost on to phase 4. One last slash on the pig. Also missing the torch glitch, but not that much of a matter, because Ganon's but a quick couple arrows away from death.
Nearly got that triple. But finishing up Ganon, so let's get your GGs in for Bumrush Blitz as well. Both runners putting on an amazing race.
And we are joined here by Oro, and hopefully soon in the next moment or so, Bumrush Blitz.
Hey, how's it going?
Oro, GGs, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So you did really well to kind of stay ahead of Bumrush Blitz the entire time, even though Bumrush had the boots. Did you ever find out? Did you guys talk about maybe where those boots were?
Yeah, I asked an IRC, and apparently it was Sphere 1 boots that weren't necessary the entire seed.
That's pretty crazy, especially since Bumrush Blitz had those fairly early on, so you did really well to route it the way you did. So talk to me kind of how you routed the seed, because it really worked out for you.
Well, I mean, at the beginning, the seed was just screaming AGA 1 as loudly as it could until its voice got hoarse and couldn't speak anymore, and just completely went away after I went up to Hera. And then pretty soon after that, I was just kind of going around the world in a counterclockwise Dark World loop, clearing dungeons and only needing just a few items for progression for go mode. Kind of just turned into a super jet seed.
Yeah, definitely. And I believe we're also now here joined by bumrushblitz. So GG's bumrushblitz. You played a really, really good seed.
Yeah, GG. That was unfortunate, but
Yeah, GG Bumrush. This is kind of a bittersweet victory because I'm glad that I won, but I really feel like you should be in the bracket stage as well.
Yeah, a little unfortunate that how sometimes it just works out that way. To face someone who, I mean, you two were very, very evenly matched. You guys both were on each other's heels the entire time. Bumrushblitz, you found the boots early. Kind of what made you make the decision to head over to Agina's cave instead of heading over towards Mini Moldorm cave?
So at that point, we opened up the well, at South Shore, and the glove was there. So I realized that I could do the Houlihan to get the money to do Zora, and just do that all in one go. So I figured I might as well go check Agina because that's one of those out of the way checks, and it could pay off. Instead, just routing wise, I'm gonna have to come back down if I want to get the money. So I went over there. I was already expecting to save and quit, but then I found the boots, and so that probably saved me quite a bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, and you used that. You kind of checked some of the boots locations pretty quickly. I think you did Bonk Rocks right afterwards, and then kind of worked your way over to Back of Escape, where you eventually Houlihan as well.
Right.
And so it became a matter of you maybe were checking a few more overworld checks, or I think once you got into Dark World, you were almost exclusively tipping dungeons, aside from the obvious hype cave.
Yeah, I was just doing the overworld checks that were nearby dungeons that I could full clear.
Oh, Laura, I had a quick question, just because it was really a bit of an odd moment. When you were heading into Pod and you accidentally mirrored before turning Kiki in, was that just an accidental button press, or were you thinking about going into Eastern even though you already cleared it once? Or
just an accidental button press.
Happens to everybody.
Just my stupid thumb being stupid.
So did you give it any thought, okay, if the Ganon Sour Big Key was on the torch, what were you gonna do? Because you got the small key on the first test laser bridge, and you didn't even bother checking it. So you felt confident, obviously, that the Big Key wasn't gonna be there, but did that play in the back of your mind at all?
Yeah, I mean, my plan was just to full clear GT basement if that came up, because it hadn't blocked progression yet, and that's the densest location I can check. I don't know where I would have gone first. I probably would have gone to Meyer or something after that.
Very true. But yeah, GG's to both of you. I don't know. Those are most of the questions I had. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Any last wishes, last requests, last comments you want to have on the seed?
One thing I will say is once because I went to go do Pyramid Fairy after Ice Palace, I probably shouldn't have done Escape. Because I was going there and I was like, well, there's probably never going to be a better time. But at that point, nothing was screaming that it wasn't going to be locked behind other progression I'd found. So I'm pretty bummed I went in there.
Yeah, I also went and did Escape.
Oh, really?
At the same time, yeah.
Yeah, so you guys didn't lose any time doing that. It's just because you both ended up doing it. But
right,
as you said, you're there. if you're not going to do it, then when are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give you guys one more shout out. These runners put on a really good show, so be sure to give them a follow, bumrushblitz and ssbmoro. Congrats to both of you, and again, GG's. Give my co-commentator Amarith a follow. Give our restreamer MathGirl718 and our tracker Nobly the Foreign a follow. And while you're here, I mean, you're already on the Go Mode Podcast channel. You might as well give them a follow as well.
Yep, and always check out our boys Tip, Axial, and Hervey over at GoModePodcast.com. Hop in our Discord, link is in the Twitch chat right now, and also give my co-commentator Wallkicks a follow.
Yeah, GG's. Congratulations, everyone, and we'll be back for more of the Challenge Cup as we're wrapping up our group stages here.
Yeah, GG.
GG, thank you.
And Oro, maybe I'll see you in brackets.
Oh, I look forward to it. In the finals, right?
Yeah, finals, definitely. Let's do it.